listening to the Phenomenal Forum on WCWPSports.org and iTunes.
Ladies and gentlemen, back by popular demand, it's the Phenomenal Forum. We're back. I'm Matt Weinstein. To my right, it's Andrew Servideo. To my left, it's Alex Honky Tonk Demiris. 3 weeks in a row, now we're on a little bit of a streak here. We're getting something started, right, guys?
Yeah. Getting a little phenomenal momentum going on, and I kind of like it.
I like it a lot. I like that you called him Honky Tonk. That was pretty good.
Well, I got something new every week. I got last week he was Alex the Snake Demiris. This week, Honky Tonk. Who knows? I think that's why people are going to keep tuning into this show.
Absolutely.
Whatever we say, it's whatever. But what's Weinstein going to call Alex this week? I think that's huge.
Something good to look forward to.
Gets the people going.
100%. So another week closer to Survivor Series. Obviously today we're recording Wednesday, so Monday and Tuesday, Raw and Smackdown in the books. So Monday Night Raw. We start off. It was Kurt Angle and the return of Stephanie McMahon. Is anybody else not that excited to see her?
I wasn't that excited.
I kind of saw it coming. I think that this was the moment to see that she was going to come back and really lay into Kurt, and I think that's exactly what we got.
Well, then that brings us right into it. Now we got Captain Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
There's no GM Kurt Angle. He's captaining that Survivor Series team, which, if you remember last week, I predicted.
You did, and we doubted you. We doubted you for sure.
I doubt. Good call, though.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Much better than the Kofi Kingston Championship run, but
look, you know what? I did bring my New Day unicorn horn. It's in the corner of the room. I forgot to bring it out, but I have it. I do have it.
Maybe it'll come out when we get.
Maybe it's the break, something like that.
About something silly.
So anyway, wow, that's interesting. So Kurt Angle was the number one. He's officially on the Raw Survivor Series team.
Yep.
And obviously it didn't happen till the next day, but he then tweeted out Braun Strowman's number 2. So you got Kurt Angle and you got Braun Strowman going up against, at the time it was just Randy Orton. He was all SmackDown had.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now, SmackDown's shaping up. You got Randy Orton, you got Captain Shane. Again, I predicted.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you got Shane matches up with Angle. So now it's Angle and Strowman are only 2 confirmed, and then it's Randy, Shane, Bobby Roode, and Shinsuke Nakamura. So there's 1 spot left there, 3 for Raw. We're underway, and I do like where these 2 teams are going.
Yeah, I think for the most part, Raw looks pretty stacked in terms of big men. That's definitely that's gonna be crazy coming up when SmackDown tries to level up when they do their final face-off. You're definitely going to see the Raw side looking bigger than the SmackDown side for sure. I think SmackDown picked the more technical side of wrestling, and Raw is the more of powerhouse type of guys. But
I definitely agree with that 100%. I so far like the first 2 guys on Raw more than I like the first 4 on SmackDown going in on it. I think that Raw, no matter who they get, I think they're really going to have a better shot at winning this. Just on intimidation alone, I think. They're going to have some big names going up against the SmackDown guys.
Well, you make a great point there. Forget brand, who's standing up to Braun Strowman?
Yeah. Nobody.
It doesn't look like anybody can do it. We'll see. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the last SmackDown spot goes to the Great Khali. Who knows? But, so there's a Survivor Series team. That main event, it's shaping up. So moving on with Raw. Another Survivor Series match, the women's 5-on-5. Captain Alicia Fox came out.
Really playing the captain's role, too.
Yeah, she came out with the captain's hat. I was a big fan. But then she started talking about that they were on a plane. I thought she was like a captain of a boat.
Like a pilot, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if she even knew what was going on. But and she said she wasn't going to wrestle Bayley. It wasn't worth it. So then we got the return of Nia Jax.
Finally. Miss Nia.
Did you?
I really miss Nia.
Really?
Raw Women's Division needs Nia. I was really happy when Nia came out. But how many times have we seen Nia and Bayley so far? We get that match
get it a
pretty
lot.
often, I think.
Here's your problem. On that Raw, I 100%, whether you love Nia Jax, you hate Nia Jax, Raw does need Nia Jax.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you have Alexa Bliss as the champion. and Mickie James just had her last opportunity. Then you have Sasha, Bayley, Alicia Fox, and now Asuka. Emma's gone.
Just lost Emma.
We just lost Emma, and Summer Rae, who hasn't been on TV in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But we did lose her too. So realistically, there's 6 women on the Raw roster, or 6 or 7 women. You're gonna have the 5 in the match, and Alexa Bliss is gonna take on Natalya. That's the entire Raw women's division.
Yeah.
Brings me to ask the question. I know we're going to get into NXT a little later in the show. Do you think after Survivor Series, somebody's going to get the call-up?
Oh, it could be Ember Moon. I think Ember Moon's time is up. I think she's going to come up next. But also, with Alexa Bliss, she's run through pretty much all of the Raw women's division by herself as champion. That's crazy.
But she hasn't. They alluded to it, but we haven't gotten the chance to see Alexa versus Nia one-on-one.
That's the only match that
That match you're missing, and obviously Alexa Asuka, which you got, I think, is coming soon.
Well, that's probably why they brought Nia back in that position now, because it'll be Alexa Nia probably next, and then I guess Nia will be taken down by Asuka. Which would make sense, but that whole Nia thing where she said she was like didn't want to lose because she's cousins with The Rock, like that kind of turned me off.
But I feel like they were kind of just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they
Nia
totally like,
pulling
oh yeah, no, you're totally right.
Do you know who I am card? I love Nia pulling that.
So the Raw team, the Raw women's team, I guess, is going to shape up right now. You have Nia and Alicia, the only 2 confirmed, and Alexa's in her other match. So really, 3 spots left for 4 women.
You got to think Asuka's definitely going to get
You got to think it's Asuka, Sasha, Bayley. And then the other 2 spots, the other 2 women, Mickie James, who I guess falls short, and Dana Brooke, who I haven't seen wrestle in a while. So
Dana Brooke.
Almost forgot about Dana
you could have
Brooke,
made the
honestly.
argument for Emma and have Asuka not as a member of the team, but now the team has to be all but certain, right?
Both teams really shaped up that we knew who was going to be in the match, because the SmackDown, when they announced the SmackDown team, there was no matches to get in on the team. There was just, all right, it's the 6 of you standing here. Obviously, we know the 5 that are going to be in it, minus Lana. The Raw women, there's really no surprises here. Mickie James was getting her shot at the title. She got 2 championship matches, so she's not going to be in it. And then, like you said, we haven't seen Dana Brooke in forever, so she's not going to be in it. So the 5-on-5 matched up well, and I think this is what the match should be with the 2 champions going against each other.
And I think, hopefully, Asuka's the 5th member.
Yeah,
I'm very interested to see how she plays into this match, because she's going to wrestle. Obviously, she hasn't wrestled much of the Raw roster, but look over at on the SmackDown side. Asuka versus Charlotte, Asuka Becky, Asuka Naomi. It's limitless, the potential of these matches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and it should be very interesting to see where that match plays out.
Who has Asuka already wrestled on the SmackDown roster?
Emma, and then whoever she fought on this past Monday Night Raw.
On SmackDown.
On SmackDown.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I
I thought you said so far.
I don't think she's wrestled anybody.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. If she gets added to that match, it'll be Asuka, like whoever she pairs up with in that match, like goes up against any one of them. Like, it's gonna be exciting.
I think the only women on the main roster that Asuka's wrestled, she wrestled Bayley.
Right. Yeah.
Did she ever wrestle Sasha? I don't think so.
No, Sasha was already up.
She wrestled Bayley. I think she might have wrestled Nia Jax.
Yes.
I think she did.
Yeah, I think once on like
and
a
I'm
taping
pretty
or
sure
something.
she wrestled Alicia in NXT.
Alicia Fox, did she?
I think so.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. And then that's it. So realistically, Asuka has all these different match opportunities. And I think Survivor Series is a great place to capitalize on that. Obviously, this past Monday, she wrestled, I guess it was a local talent type. Like, I don't even know who it was. But I think that's where they're going to be until maybe the week before Survivor Series.
Yeah, she's getting the Nia Jax treatment with all the jobbers.
I hate those matches.
Really?
Yeah, I really can't stand to see it. I'd rather see somebody, a real Raw superstar on the match like that. It just annoys me when they have these push matches.
It feels like they're like pushing for time. I think they're like trying to fill up their time slots, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, why not? Just have her beat somebody.
But then again, you think you go back to the lack of depth in the women's roster on Raw, who would you put her up against on a throwaway Monday Night match?
That's true.
Throw Dana Brooke in there.
Yeah, honestly, Dana Brooke.
Really, throw Dana Brooke in
She's
there.
not
We
a
haven't seen her in
competitor.
forever. You know that Asuka's going to win anyway. Might as well give Dana Brooke a little spot.
Makes sense.
So we talk about the Nia Jax return. Let's get right into the next return, which, in my opinion, I think went over a little bit better. That's the return of Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
He beat Apollo. He choked out Titus O'Neil. I'm way on board with Samoa Joe. In my head, he can do no wrong. This is a guy who needs to be on that Raw team.
Absolutely. He is going to be one to look forward to in this match. Who has he gone up against besides Bobby Roode? Oh, and Nakamura, right? So he's going to get to face off against Bobby Roode and Nakamura in the Survivor Series match.
And potentially AJ Styles.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Who obviously he hasn't matched up with in WWE.
Yeah.
But he has years and years of history with him.
Yeah. That's going to be good.
I was so excited to see Joe back on Raw. The crowd was really pumped to see him back, too. They were really showing him some love. And then I love how he threw it right back in their face afterwards. I'm not excited to see any of you.
Yeah.
So that was great, too.
Good.
Really happy to see Joe back. Joe brings Raw. Definitely helps it out.
And with Samoa Joe, we talk about all those matchups. One that probably the fourth or fifth, I guess don't count Shane, which I think will still be pretty cool. But say the other four members of the SmackDown team, probably the fourth most anticipated is Samoa Joe, Randy Orton.
Oh, yeah.
That's incredible.
That is.
That's something I would pay a lot of money to see.
I want to see
Go for it.
Randy Orton go for the RKO and Samoa Joe just catch him with the Coquina clutch.
Oh,
That'd be
that's a good-
sick. That'd be really
That,
cool.
yeah,
That sounds
I
good
feel
to me.
like we could probably do a whole 60 minutes on
I'm just like things
on how Randy Orton can hit the RKO on this guy. But yeah, I totally agree. So then, the Miz, the running theme on Raw was the Miz.
Yeah.
It was he's told Angle like he's gotta go. He thinks Braun's coming. I'm out of here, and he's like, no, you gotta stay till the end of the show. Also, you're defending your title against a mystery opponent. And whenever I hear mystery opponent, no matter what's going on the rest of the show, I make sure I'm watching live.
Yeah.
Because I get you never know who it's going to be. It could be somebody, it could be like Heath Slater. But then at the end of the day, it could be either somebody debuting, somebody returning. Who knows? Jericho is always coming out of nowhere. It could be someone like him.
Oh, don't tease me.
Nah, I apologize. But then, and when I heard the Hardy Boys music hit, I was on board.
Yeah.
Because really, it's the first time we've seen Matt Hardy, I guess, since Jeff's been off TV. He did a little bit with Jason Jordan, but other than that, we haven't seen him as Matt Hardy, the singles wrestler.
Absolutely.
This was the first time we saw, and potentially, maybe we were going to get to see a little bit of that broken brilliance out of Matt Hardy. Like I can't even describe what that would feel like.
It would be crazy, but I think they've dropped the ball on that. I think it's been too long for that to ever happen. And if it did happen, it would be exciting, but I think he'd have to go a different route with it. I think it would have to be something different because people have already seen it before, and it's been so long without it that nobody would really care that much. But again, Matt Hardy in a WWE ring being in a singles competitor is pretty cool.
I thought it was a great match as well. I really thought that
Absolutely.
this was one of the best matches of the night too. Miz against Matt Hardy for the belt. And something interesting, I thought that I was surprised to hear that Matt Hardy's never won an Intercontinental Championship before.
Yeah, they talked. What was all of his singles titles? It was obviously the tag titles, and ECW, US,
And
Cruiserweight. I guess right.
Was he ever WWE champion or World
No,
Heavyweight?
He was ECW champion.
Oh yeah,
when he won the first ever championship scramble.
that's true. Yeah.
Courtesy of Mike Adamle. Thank you for that.
But like you said, the whole theme really of the night was waiting for Miz to get to the end of the night to see what was going to happen. I love when Miz is the focal point of Raw. I really think he deserves it, and he does a great job with it as well. I love when he showed up. Oh, what did I miss? What happened? Nothing. What happened in the first few minutes? Oh, nothing. Just except the whole Raw roster, and then Stephanie McMahon was there too. Him showing up fashionably late. I thought that was.
I mean,
great.
he's putting on. You could say week after week, he's putting on the best work of his career.
Yeah.
He really probably since the Cena feud around WrestleMania.
Yeah.
From then on, and then he took to the shots at Roman. He took the shots at Cena.
And now the shots at Corbin too on that on that video getting back at him. That was really
Corbin
some good stuff.
and Miz have been going back and forth. Obviously, they're going to have their one-on-one match at Survivor Series, and that's an interesting match because Baron Corbin, you have two heels, but when it comes time for the crowd to decide who are we going to cheer for, it's got to be the Miz.
Of course.
Yeah.
I feel like this is what the WWE's been dreading for years. People getting behind the Miz. Because he's been the top heel of the company, and now for them to put him in a match with somebody that the crowd just has disdain for, finally it's gonna. What are we gonna? Let's go, Miz. Like,
it's gonna be interesting to play out. This is a story I'm really looking forward to moving forward, going into Survivor Series.
Yeah, and they were doing that Twitter banter back and forth with like the videos, and Miz was calling him out, saying like, "Oh, this is some of your best promo work. Like, great job, pal. But like, you're not doing it in front of an audience. Like, I can do it in front of an audience, no problem, but you can't." So, again, it just shows like how much of a seasoned veteran Miz has become, and I think people fail to realize that sometimes that like Miz has been there for so long, and Miz knows a lot. So it's gonna be interesting for sure to see both of them in the ring against each other, champion versus champion.
And then. We talked about the Miz and Braun Strowman being a focal point of the show. What really carried that middle part was this whole Kane story. First, he attacked Daniel Bryan, which in my head, I'm thinking, all right, well, they wouldn't do that if they never want him to wrestle again.
Yeah.
So, what's good with that? Like, what's the deal?
It's getting me anxious. I really want to see it.
Even if his comeback is to wrestle Kane, I wouldn't care.
I would.
I don't
I
care
would
what
love it.
I don't
The story
care.
writes itself.
I
They
don't
were
ca-
tag team champions.
I don't care what it is. But so then he attacked Kane, and then Finn beat Cesaro in a good match.
That was a good match.
And then Kane tombstone Finn.
Right.
So he's now in those two stories. Then Kane beat Seth, and then he took out. What did he take out? Ambrose and Rollins, right?
Yeah.
And then, so everybody's falling down to Kane.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, again, they're building him up for Strowman,
For
I
Strowman,
guess.
exactly.
Yeah.
But now I guess they're going to wait until after Survivor Series? Is that going to be something that plays out on Raw before Survivor Series?
Or maybe Kane gets involved in the match itself at Survivor Series, taking out Braun Strowman, being the one to take out Strowman in the match because nobody else is going to be able to.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Were you guys surprised to see Daniel Bryan though when he came out when he was backstage with Kurt?
I was.
Yeah.
When Kane, neither of them, when Kurt Angle was on the screen by himself and he just brought out the walkie-talkie, he's like, alert, they're here. And then I figured it was going to be either everybody, it was going to be one person. He goes, what are you doing here? And it panned over to, I thought it was going to be like Sami Zayn or something.
Yeah.
And it panned over to Daniel Bryan.
Well, you called it last week. You said you thought the whole locker room was going to come and invade, but again, you were wrong, and it was Daniel Bryan. Like it was such a crazy face off, and just behind the scenes too. It's like such a weird thing that we haven't seen. We've only seen it on pay-per-views. It's never been on like an actual show.
He just showed up, and then they said, "Oh, I didn't tell anybody. I just came here." That's big stuff.
Yeah,
it is.
I like to see Daniel Bryan get involved because we don't really remember. Daniel Bryan's the GM, Shane's the commissioner, and like Stephanie's the commissioner of Raw. She hasn't been on TV in months.
Yeah, you see so much of Shane.
You see Shane, and when it was Mick Foley, it was Shane and Mick Foley. Then it was Shane and Kurt Angle. You forget Daniel Bryan is in that. He's the same role Kurt Angle has. So I'm glad that they finally put Daniel Bryan in that spot where like that's his job. You would think that's what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
And I think just to get back on the Kane situation, I think that in order to really push his character to make it believable that he can go up against a Strowman, I like the idea that he's running through everybody, tombstoning everybody that comes in his path, whoever it may be, the Shield, Finn, anyone. And I also like how he said the Miz is on his own at the end too. Kind of got the Miz a little scared.
That's right. Again, it's all about the Miz. So we're gonna take a quick break here. You're listening to the Phenomenal Forum here on WCWPSports.org.
You're listening to the Phenomenal Forum on WCWP Sports.
Time to play the game!
Welcome back. It's the Phenomenal Forum here. Matt Weinstein, along with Andrew Servideo, Alex Damiris, each and every week here on WCWPSports.org. So we left off, we were talking about the whole Kane situation. We're talking Kane and Finn and Cesaro, Kane and Rollins, Ambrose, whatever it was. And that's going to lead up. It's going to be the Kane Strowman thing. And Andrew, you made a really good point before we went off the air. We were talking early in the show who's the guy that stacks up on the SmackDown side against Strowman. It's very well could be Kane that comes out. Last year, nobody stacked up against Braun Strowman, and he got eliminated because of James Ellsworth.
Right.
So it's very likely that we do see something like that.
It's going to be the wild card for sure. I don't think anybody would be able, not even on the Raw side. If the Raw side, maybe Samoa Joe, not even on the Raw side would be able to take out Braun Strowman themselves. Maybe have somebody else come in. Even Owens and Sammy, if they wanted to get involved. I don't even think they're going to have a match at this pay-per-view.
I think if Owens and Sammy get involved, it'll be against SmackDown, right? They wouldn't help SmackDown.
That's true.
So I think if anything, they come out to help Raw eliminate, say, Shane or AJ, whoever it is. So we'll go from a high point of Raw to one of, if not the lowest of lows. Heath Slater and Rhino, Mr. and Mrs. Claus, took on Gallows and Anderson, Chad Too Bad, and Tex Ferguson in a trick or street fight. Shouts to Gallows and Anderson, second year in a row that they've lost to the trick or street fight. Last year they lost it to Enzo and Cass. I think they were Buzz and Woody or something like that.
Yeah.
Alex, you mentioned it. How'd this work for you?
You don't even have to ask. I hated this. I thought this part of the show was brutal. If you're gonna have a match like this, make it a real match. Let's see some good action during it. I just thought the whole thing really kind of dragged through. The only part I'll say that made me laugh was the end when Gallows thought that they had won the match and he's got the pumpkin on his head. He's raising his hands, and then the wrong music hits and he doesn't know what's happening.
I didn't understand. It was funny. My dad walked into my room. He was watching. I think we were watching in different rooms, and we were both flipping between, I think, the World Series and this. And we just saw. I said to him, I go, why would they put the pumpkins on their own head?
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense to me. I was like, once you put the pumpkin on your head, now you can't see anything. Now, obviously, Gallows doesn't know what's going on. It's just, even maybe only Anderson puts the thing on his head, so Gallows can help out.
Yeah.
Obviously, maybe next year when they are booked to lose the trick or street fight again, they don't put the pumpkins on their head.
Hopefully, they don't get booked in the street fight again.
Well, it's interesting because after that, I don't know if you guys saw, it was going around Reddit and stuff. Carl Anderson took out any reference to WWE from his Twitter bio.
Yeah, but then
Finn Balor tweeted a picture of a tombstone that just said "bye."
I think it's because he got tombstone though. I think that was that.
Yeah, I see. But people were like, "Oh, they're leaving. They're going back to Japan." And then I think Luke Gallows tweeted something. He's like, "Yep, we're on our way to the European tour."
Yeah.
So
and one of them tweeted out just like an emoji of a money bag too. I think it was Anderson. It was so funny.
It's ridiculous.
But
let's get into Jason Jordan and Elias Sampson.
Again this week. Same thing.
Yeah, but did they have a match, or was it just they were going back and forth?
I think they were just going back and forth.
I think Jason Jordan... Oh, no.
Or it was a DQ or something.
No, Elias was singing, and then Jason Jordan came out. Elias got out of the ring, and then Jason Jordan smashed the guitar.
Right.
That's what happened. Jason Jordan, since this whole Kurt Angle story, he's done nothing.
Yeah.
He's so good in the ring, but he just... Now it's like, oh, it's the Kurt Angle kid. That, who cares?
It's saddening.
He really is good in the ring, though, like you said.
He's great.
Yeah. But he's kind of in no man's land, just floating around. And
so is someone like Elias, who I really like.
Yeah.
I think he's great.
He gets natural heat, for sure.
Yeah, and I think it was at TLC when he came out the first time. I think he started to sing. He got booed, and then he's just like, all right, now I'm going to have to start over. Please hold your applause. I was dying.
Yeah,
there's no way that was in the script. He just ad-libbed it. It was great. And then, a big talking point on this show is Enzo and the Cruiserweights. This week, he came out with Drew Gulak.
I love Drew Gulak.
And Gulak wrestled Kalisto.
Love it.
Gulak gets better week after week.
You've been waiting for this match. Just go. I know. Just go.
When Drew Gulak started doing his spiel, and he said, And you know who does that? I'm going to spell it out for you. S. Waited for a reaction. O-F-T. Soft. Enzo looked at him. He's like,
Pissed.
how long have we been doing
So
this together?
mad.
I've been here for 2 years now. You still don't get this? But Drew Gulak, and then, then Kalisto's music came out. So in my head, I'm like, all right, Gulak's jobbing real quick. So Kalisto got the pin, the Salida del Sol, and then Enzo came out right away. Look to beat down Kalisto. I guess Kalisto's going to get another title shot in Survivor
I guess
Series.
this feud is just going to keep going out for a few more weeks, but Gulak and Enzo are definitely phony together. And, I'm not sure how much longer Kalisto's going to be in the big picture at least, but, doing a decent job so far. I love his finisher.
Absolutely.
So
Salida del Sol is great.
Yeah.
But do you think Gulak is the one to beat Enzo in the future?
I don't think so.
No?
Maybe they'll have a match, but I don't think Gulak wins the title.
Really?
Not off Enzo, at least. I think I've been saying it for months off this show. When are they going to give Cedric Alexander the title?
Yeah.
When are they going to at least put him in a title picture? He's hands down the best talent in that division. And I like what he's doing with Rich Swann, with Kendrick and Gallagher, but eventually you got to do something with
Something's going to happen, yeah.
The crowd's got to pop for him a little more. I don't think he's getting the love from the crowd. And now Gulak's getting more love because he's coming out with Enzo. So I don't think Gulak would turn on Enzo or anything like that. I think this is the biggest push he's gotten, and he wants to stay there for a little bit.
For sure.
So, winding down Monday Night Raw, Alexa beats Mickie James, match is over, and it immediately cuts to The Miz with The Miz Taraj. They're running away. They're trying to get out.
Now hold on. Do you want to talk about how Alexa beat Mickie with just a punch?
Oh yeah, that big
That
right
was-
hand,
yeah,
the big right hand.
That was like a Big Show punch. I was like, come on.
That's a good point. I missed that. I don't know what that does for anybody.
I think this was just the end between these two, maybe.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I really hope so.
Really just
I
thinking.
think regardless of how the match ended, it would have been the end. But that's how they did it.
Yeah.
All right. So, good catch.
Yeah.
Andrew. So
Put a questionable next to that one.
Yeah.
For
For future reference, yeah.
pencil it in. So Braun comes. They did the whole thing. The Miz. They get the Miz and the Miz Taraj. They get in the limo, saying drive, and the garbage truck is in the way. Braun comes in out of nowhere. I love it.
You loved it?
You
loved when the garbage came out and Braun just stood up from out of all
That
the
cut
trash.
was a little weird.
You
It was a little
liked
weird
that?
at that point.
Oh
But
my gosh.
after that, when he started chasing him down and like got in the ring and started like
throwing him down
throwing
the
him
ramp
down
and
the
stuff.
ramp, I thought that was cool. And then when when they were chanting one more time, he does it 4 times.
Yeah.
I thought that was fantastic.
I'll defend myself. If anybody else came out like that and then started chasing them, I'd have been like, oh, this is kind of stupid. When Braun did it and he raises his hands and he screams, I can watch that a million times.
You think anyone else could survive being in a garbage truck for 2 weeks
Well,
besides Braun
the
Strowman?
thing. The best, I think Bo Dallas, or it was either Dallas or Axel, I was like, Miz, you saw what happened to him. He's not getting out of that. I'm like, is he dead? Where is he?
At this point, Braun Strowman has become almost like a cartoon character on
Yeah.
the show, and it's
I
fantastic. I love every single
love
bit of it.
Because years and years past, that was your whole roster.
Yeah.
Now to have someone who on one hand is like a throwback like that, who he's gonna be like a kind of cartoony guy, but on the other hand is an absolute monster,
He's a powerhouse. Yeah.
is the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So I guess that'll do it for Raw. Anything you guys had before we move on to SmackDown about Raw?
Just that whole Alexa thing with the winning by the punch, I didn't like that. But other than that, it's a pretty good show.
Yeah, the garbage at the end was, a little questionable for me. But I liked how it ended, just like Andrew said. I liked when he was throwing everybody down the ramp and stuff like that. I liked when Miz, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel, 3 huge guys, all get in the back seat. Nobody wants to take shotgun for that ride, just to call something out.
I thought it was so funny that it took them so long to unlock the doors. Like,
Yeah.
and they couldn't figure it out. And then, like, as soon as Braun Strowman comes out, they're like, "Oh, okay, that's how you open."
All
it."
right,
love
we
it.
figured it out.
I love that because however much of a rush the Miz was in, put the bags in the car, put the bags, get the door, why don't you? I can't open up my own door. What do you expect from me? The Intercontinental Champ, he's so good, man. That's all
great.
I got for that.
So we'll move it on to SmackDown. It started sort of a similar way to Raw. Yeah, it's Shane in the ring. And he named himself captain.
Right.
He said, Angle, you started. He started it, but it's an angle. You started this. You're in the match. Well, so am I. I'll see you there. And then they went again. I was right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I gotta throw that in there. It's a little feather in my cap. And then it goes right into Bobby Roode Ziggler. 2 out of 3 falls. Bobby Roode wins. He's on the Survivor Series team. What'd you guys think of this match?
You said before SmackDown even started. You said you showed us the tweet that Ziggler put out, and you were like, "Is this like his final swan song? Like, is this gonna be it?" And I was like, "I don't know." I know you said his contract is up.
His
and stuff, but,
contract?
I think today.
I think it was either yesterday or today. And they've been talking about it for a while. He's been saying, he might not re-sign. He's going to go do other stuff. And obviously, if there's ever a time for him to leave,
it would be now.
it'd be right now.
And there's so many people leaving too. I think that's another thing that's kind of like making me sad about this whole thing. It's
And-
just like Dolph Ziggler's been there for so long, and he's done nothing. And I'm just like, you know what? Good for him if he does. Good for him if he doesn't.
You had
I
the
don't
other
care.
day, the couple of, who was it? It was Emma, Summer Rae, and Darren Young all released. And I heard, it was a rumor, but I heard that they're not done released. Like, there's a couple more on the way.
Yeah.
Could he potentially be one of those guys?
It's funny because you said, good for him if he does, good for him if he doesn't. I feel the same way watching the show. I almost want him to leave so he can be recognized and be put into better situations for himself. But then again, I don't want Dolph to leave because I like watching what Dolph does.
I love Dolph. I
So-
love everything he
I
does
was
in the ring.
gonna say the same thing. You took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah. Oh, you want him to leave for him, but I want him to stay for me, right?
But
That type of thing.
Yeah.
It's like a selfishness.
I didn't think it was a great match, though. I thought if this was going to be the last time that two of these guys go at it, they fought, I think
This was the
two or three
third
times, or
match,
this was the third
and this
match.
was the 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a overly great match. I thought the end was a little better. The first 2 falls the first 2 falls of the match I thought were a little quick, a little weird.
Yeah.
But it picked up towards the end, expecting a little more, but I'm a tough critic, so.
Their first match that they have, I think, was the best one of the
Yeah.
3. Yeah, for sure.
And I agree with you. That one wasn't even that good.
Yeah.
I feel like you expect so much more from 2 guys like Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode.
Also, the whole thing, Bobby Roode is he's not a face. He's a heel.
Of course,
and he shouldn't be being a face
You
right
should-
now.
yeah.
But
But
like I think
everyone-
after Survivor
yeah.
Series it'll
I
change.
think-
that'll.
I
I
agree.
think maybe that comes into effect during the Survivor Series match too.
I think maybe he's not getting along with Shane, or he's not getting along with AJ.
Something.
Who knows?
Something happens.
Maybe it's Nakamura.
Oh yeah, or yeah,
He's
yeah,
not
because
getting-
they've had their history.
He's not
in
getting
NXT.
along with Nakamura. That's realistically it could be anybody,
Yeah.
or it could be Randy RKO's him. He's like I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
Who knows? Realistically, we could sit here and book a feud for Bobby Roode as a heel with any of the other 4 guys on this team.
Yeah,
That speaks to how good Roode is. You can put him with anybody, and
Yeah.
he's going to really
fantastic.
carry a good storyline, you
Absolutely.
think?
And you talk about Roode like that. You go 6, 7 guys down the SmackDown roster. You can say the same thing about any of them.
Yeah.
AJ, Shinsuke Nakamura, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode. The talent there is ridiculous.
stacked.
And why? I feel like everyone's like, oh, well, Raw's the show, Raw's the show. Look at this team that SmackDown's putting out.
Yeah,
Like,
but look at Raw's team.
yeah.
But I get what you're saying, because I like this SmackDown team, all of them as individual guys, but just when they stack up against the team that Raw's going to put together, it seems a little lopsided. But yeah, like you said, just these guys all individually, I really love each one of these guys.
For sure.
So we'll get right into the next match on the card. Baron Corbin beat Sin Cara by DQ.
Sin Cara's getting a nice push.
I was going to say, I'd like it. I'm a big fan of Sin Cara. I'm pretty sure he just signed like a 4-year extension on his contract. This is he had a fresh pair of shoes released. This is a guy who could be a legitimate player in the SmackDown mid-card.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really like Baron Corbin as U.S. champ. I'm gonna say it right there.
I don't like Baron Corbin when he's not U.S. champ.
Yeah, I don't like Baron Corbin in general.
But I agree.
But I don't know. I don't think Sin Cara will beat him for the title. I think Corbin's gonna keep it for a while.
Yeah, especially everything that's happened with him and The Miz this past week. You really are rooting to see Corbin hang on to it just so he can fight Miz at Survivor Series.
Right.
Well, and I totally agree, and I'm glad that they're doing that because otherwise, we said before, why do we care about this match?
You don't.
Miz, absolutely not. But for them to go back and forth, leave it to the Miz to build a program off screen. Give him an inch, he'll take you a mile.
Yeah.
This is a match that it's a bit of a stretch, but it's almost a must-see match because of this story they're building on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's where we are. That this whole feud is Twitter-based, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So then, the match of the night came after. AJ Styles defeated Samir Singh. I believe it was like an 8 or 9 second match.
Hey, maybe 15 seconds.
Give Samir Singh his credit. He hung in there. But where's this AJ Styles Jinder story going?
I think they're just trying to space it out. These last 2 weeks.
I think they're
get a little
stalling,
thriller.
right?
I think they're giving AJ a break from all the stuff he's been doing, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, just go and beat up.
Yeah, a
Because
couple.
he's probably tired after what he's
Yeah.
been doing. He went back and forth from South America or what it was, and then back to Raw, and then worked SmackDown the next night. So they're probably giving him a break after all that stuff he's been going through.
Good point. I think the highlight of SmackDown for me, believe it or not, it was the New Day. Their costumes. It was Big E as Akeem. What was it? Kofi was Brother Love, and Xavier was Jimmy Hart.
That was
was
great.
great.
The Jimmy
If they
Hart
could-
with the
And
the
to think,
microphone,
I don't know if you guys remember, last Halloween, they all dressed up as Godfather characters.
Yeah,
One of them was the Godfather. One of them was Papa Shango. Like, if they could just dress up in Halloween costumes every day, every SmackDown, that's all I need.
Every
Pretty
day is
funny
Halloween
gimmick.
for the New Day. They're giving out treats and cereal and whatever.
Exactly. So
You said every day is Halloween day?
Yeah, pretty.
No, every day is Rusev
Oh,
day.
you're-
That's a very good point. Big Aiden English guy over here. I love Rusev and English together.
It's great.
Aiden English, big friend of the program thus far, I would say. Really love Aiden English, and especially him and Rusev. Every time I see Aiden English, he makes me laugh. So
I'm happy to see he's somewhere after the Vaudevillain split.
Yeah.
So we'll finish off SmackDown in a little bit. We're gonna take a quick break. You're listening to the Phenomenal Forum here on WCWPSports.org.
You're listening to the Phenomenal Forum on WCWP Sports.
Welcome back. It's the Phenomenal Forum here on WCWPSports.org. Matt Weinstein alongside Andrew Servideo, Alex Demirs, each and every week. We're just about finished with SmackDown, but we got to talk about our guys Breezango. The Fashion Files. Last night it was the debut of Stranger Things. I loved every second of it.
I loved it.
I think, it's the tradition really here every week. What am I going to say? I didn't like it. That's never going to come out of my mouth when I see these two guys in the Fashion Files. Ever.
And we finally found out that 2B is the Bludgeon Brothers. So that's good to know as confirmation.
I don't know.
Well, who else could it be?
Of course, you think but who else could it be? Then they would have finished it 4 weeks ago.
No, I think it's going to continue, but we know now. It's got to be.
I think
it's got to be them.
I think here's because at first you thought it was the Ascension. Then the Ascension came out. It was 2B friends. What are the odds that the Bludgeon Brothers debut? They start having matches with Breezango, and then they just start showing up on Fashion Files. Is this a legitimate feud, the Bludgeon Brothers and Breezango? Probably not, right? It's either because if it is, the Bludgeon Brothers are going to squash them in 2 minutes, and that'll be the end of it. And there goes 4 months worth of
2B
Fashion
build-up.
Files.
Yeah.
So there's no way that's just the end. I don't think so.
Did we ever find out who was underneath the table? It
was Ty
It was,
Dillinger.
Ty
Oh,
Dillinger, yeah,
it was
that
Ty
was
Dillinger.
it. Ty
He
Dillinger.
was-
That was great. Is that an 11? No.
I'm a
I'm
10.
a 10. That was great. The Ty Dillinger.
That was great.
Yes.
Did they say what next week's is?
No, they
I don't
just said
think
Fashion
they
Files.
did. They
I don't
said
even think
fa-
they'll say it would be next week. I don't even know if
Whenever
announce
it is.
Whatever.
So
I wanted more last night, though.
Yeah.
I thought last night's was
It was
funny.
quick,
It
yeah.
it was
It wa-
quick.
it was
I
a
wanted
quick
more
one.
of it.
Well, just like Stranger Things, it was quick. The whole season was quick. If you watched it, I don't know if you watched it.
So I don't actually.
Oh.
So, yeah. Anyway, we get right into the main event: Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens. Winner gets a Survivor Series spot. And Sami Zayn. These two guys had a good match.
Yeah.
You know,
As expected.
Obviously, right. And obviously, you give these guys a little more time. You give them a little more room to build this up. That's a main event on any show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a solid feud right there.
And yeah, they missed each other in NXT. So
Yeah.
this might have been the first time they've ever wrestled in
in
WWE.
WWE, yeah, they had that one. Did you ever see the match they had in Ring of Honor? It was when it was New Japan versus Ring of Honor. I think what's the name of that pay-per-view? War of the Worlds or something like that.
Something like
that. And they had a really good match. It was really
But these are two guys. You expect that out of these two guys,
Oh,
especially
absolutely.
if you put them together. So it was Sami Zayn came out. He was going to distract Nakamura, and then Randy Orton's music hit. He hit the back suplex on Sami Zayn through the table or something like that. Did you guys notice when Sami Zayn was ripping the cover off the announce table? He threw it and it hit somebody.
Yeah, I did see that. It went
Really?
almost right into the
I didn't see that.
Go back and watch it back.
You'll
know
kind of at the top. It went into the crowd a little bit.
because he threw it and it bounced.
No way.
Yeah, it didn't fall. And the rest of the show, I was watching this kid holding his face. I was like, this is bad.
Oh,
if this
no.
is real,
Oh my
this
gosh.
isn't good. Go watch it back. Watch it back when we're done.
Yeah.
So so Nakamura is number 3 on the Survivor Series team.
I almost liked Randy coming out. I know I hit on Randy a little last week, but I kind of liked him coming out and sticking up for Nakamura because it kind of carries that they were a tag team the past few weeks. Actually, we've seen them work together a bunch, so I think it kind of carries that storyline going forward towards Survivor Series a little more. You're going to see them on the same team again, so I thought that actually played out really well.
And so now it's 4. No, now it's 4 guys.
Yeah, we have
So
a match
there's
next
the
week.
one spot left, and next week it's AJ versus Rusev.
One thing before we get into that, when they were in the corner, Nakamura and Owens hit that reverse superplex or something like that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought that move was really cool. That
he only-
really
that
got
was
me
really
going.
cool.
He only pulls that out in big matches.
Yeah.
I don't know when the last time he did that on TV.
It hit perfect.
But I love it.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
So now, next week the 5th spot is on the line. It's AJ versus Rusev. I'm very, very excited to see these two guys in the ring together.
Oh yeah. I don't think we seen it, or maybe it was like a blow off match.
Yeah, maybe
nothing
in just like a
huge.
middle of card match or
Yeah.
something like that. But
I'm excited for this. AJ will get a good match out of anybody, especially Rusev's been putting on some great work as of late. This is a match I want to see.
Yeah, I think another cool thing about the Survivor Series, like this time of the year for WWE in general, there's a lot of cool matches that you don't get to see throughout the year. Not only because it's Raw versus SmackDown, but it's also it's very competitive. If you want to see good matches, for spots on the team, I think it's a great way to incorporate those main event matches into actually meaning something and having value.
meaning is the exact perfect way you say it, because when there's not a title on the line, there's really you can get a little bit of a feud going, but this has meaning to it.
Right.
You were exactly right with what you just said. I'm totally behind you on that.
Right.
So 4 of the 5 Survivor Series spots gone, 1 left. So that's pretty much it for SmackDown. We'll see where this goes next week. We'll try to fill these. I mean, we have a basic idea of what these two teams are going to look like to full, but who knows what's going to happen. You expect to see by next week, I guess, 10 guys certain, right?
Yeah.
Should I ask? You think it's going to be AJ?
Oh, absolutely.
gotta
Yeah,
be
There's
AJ,
no way it's
right?
not AJ.
Yes, it's going to be AJ Styles.
What if it's Rusev?
It's not gonna be Rusev.
I mean, do I want to see Rusev on this team? Yeah.
Oh, I want to
Do
see
I
it.
want to see Rusev on the team at the expense of AJ Styles? No.
You're right.
Absolutely.
Because
not.
then what do you do? What
I
can
think
you do with AJ?
I think if Shane and Angle weren't in the match, I think Rusev's your 5th
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, though. That's what I didn't like about it last week when we were discussing them two being on the teams, because you got to kick a guy like Rusev off, who's really just been hanging with Aiden English lately.
And he's a guy that could really benefit from being in the ring with guys like this.
Especially Strowman. I'd like to see Rusev Strowman a little bit in there or something like that, but you got to have Shane and Kurt in the match, and you give the bump to one of these talented guys, and it's going to end up being Rusev.
So, that's just about it for Raw and SmackDown this week. We're going to get into right now something we haven't really had time to get into so far on the show. Let's talk a little bit NXT.
Yeah.
Andrew, I know you're big fan all things NXT. What's the one thing that you're dying to see coming up soon at
coming
NXT?
soon.
What do you like? What's going on?
All right, so I love this feud between Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream. I think
Oh, yeah.
I think Velveteen Dream is really, really cool. I know a lot of people don't like him because of the whole it's just like a silly gimmick and all this stuff, but like they haven't even wrestled yet at all.
Yeah.
And this is gonna be really good. You could tell like the tension is building and it's gonna be a good match.
Well, you talk about, oh, it's a silly gimmick, oh, it's this, it's that, but he's running with it.
Oh yeah.
This is Patrick Clark out of Tough Enough, and it was
The guy who should have won Tough
Yeah, he
Enough.
didn't even win Tough Enough.
Yeah.
And you when he first came out, I think like his first time on NXT, I think like one of his first times, he came out and interrupted Shinsuke Nakamura when he was champion or something like that. And his name was Patrick Clark, and he was kind of starting to get this whole Velveteen Dream gimmick going. But from then to now, it's like two different guys. This is like he gets the character, he knows what he's got to do, and it's very, very well done from him. And you're gonna put him in the ring with Aleister Black, hasn't lost yet in NXT, and before this whole feud started, he never even said a word. He never cut a promo, and he cuts his first promo, and Velveteen Dream was the guy that came out. I was shocked that this is a guy you're going to put in the ring with him. But it's paying off, and I can't wait to see it.
Do we know when this match is happening?
At Takeover.
Takeover.
It's the night before Survivor
Okay.
Series.
Yeah.
All right.
So the night before, we'll go through a little bit of that Takeover card. We know it's Aleister Black versus Velveteen Dream. We know the NXT title, Drew McIntyre is defending the title against Andrade Cien Almas. And then the tag title picture, it's the return of War Games.
Yes. I'm very excited about this.
Sanity versus, that's Eric Young, Alexander Wolf, and Killian Dane versus the Altars of Pain and Roderick Strong versus the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly.
Wow.
This could be huge.
Yeah.
It already is huge.
Do you like how they put Roderick Strong with Authors of Pain?
I feel like I do now, but I feel like it was kind of just like a throw-in. It was like he's part of this story.
That's what I felt
where
too.
they want Cole and all them. They want to recruit him,
Yeah.
and for him to go against them. Realistically, he doesn't fit in with Sanity. He doesn't fit in with the Authors of Pain either. But it made sense.
So do you think he joins the Undisputed Era?
No,
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think him with the Authors of Pain is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do.
I think it is pretty cool.
Do
Do you think he'll come out with them and their entrance?
No, you mean like Kurt Angle and the Shield?
Yeah,
No,
like that?
I do
Oh.
not think so. I hope not, because I think that's even more drastic than Angle with the Shield. I think that's even farther off
For sure.
when you look at Roderick Strong and Altars of Pain. So what else we got on this card?
The
The vacant women's title, Fatal
yes, that's gonna be good. Who are you looking forward to
4-Way.
winning?
Well, it's the four competitors. It's Ember Moon, Kairi Sane, the winner of the Cruiserweight Classic, the Mae Young Classic, Nikki Cross of Sanity, and Peyton Royce. I'm a big fan of Peyton Royce.
Me too.
I think she's great. The whole iconic stuff, the iconic duo she
duo.
does with Billie Kay. I'm not as big a fan of Billie Kay,
No, I mean neither.
but Peyton Royce, she's good in the ring. She's got a good handle on that, that heel group in the women's locker room character. I'm a big fan.
I think Peyton Royce will win this match, and then Ember Moon comes up.
I think that's cool how they're waiting till TakeOver, how they've had this women's championship vacant until now, right?
Women's championship's been vacant since
Since she had to relinquish,
the
relinquish it, right?
middle of August.
So that's some really
They'll wait until the end of November.
that's really strong build up, and it's gonna keep building up until that date. And that's cool that they have the winner of the Mae Young Classic in there too.
Yeah, each of the four competitors earned their way into this match, which is really cool.
Right.
Nikki Cross winning that
It was like a
over the top rope
20-woman battle royal, yeah.
And then Peyton Royce won a battle royal as well.
I think she
right?
won a triple threat match.
Triple threat,
Or a
there you
fatal
go.
4-way.
Yeah.
One or the other.
It
Now,
was
did
very
Ember
cool.
Moon earn her way in, or was it just like, oh, she was the last competitor?
She was the last competitor.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And probably my favorite part of NXT, whenever he's on, is Johnny Gargano. Johnny Wrestling. I guess they kind of caught. They didn't really get all it was caught up to be when Tommaso Ciampa turned on him back in May because
Yeah.
Ciampa was hurt. So they've kind of just been waiting around with Johnny Gargano, but
They're still kind of waiting around, considering
Yeah.
what he's going to be doing.
You want to tell us what he's doing at Takeover, Andrew?
So him and Shawn Michaels have recently become like pretty good pals. If I do say myself, Johnny Gargano and Shawn Michaels are going to have an ab off. So they're going to train up for a couple weeks, making their abs look nice and getting in the ring and showing off their abs and seeing who gets a better reaction.
This is what Shawn Michaels is.
This is what
come
Shawn.
to?
Well, he's
Besides
at
coaching at NXT.
He's at the
but yeah.
Performance Center now. He's
Yeah.
coaching NXT. I love Shawn Michaels more than the next guy, but I hope Johnny Gargano has a match too, right?
Well, this is the thing. I think Tommaso Ciampa comes back and just like literally just annihilates Johnny Gargano.
Is he healthy yet?
I hope so. I think they're if not at this ab off thing, it'll be right after. I
Sorry,
can't believe we're still talking about it.
ab off.
Ab off. There's a hyphen in there.
Yeah.
It's not one word.
It's pretty
I'm
ridiculous.
just trying to get it there for you.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this NXT title. Drew McIntyre coming back after a few years away. What was it, 4 or 5 years away, and he bet on himself like you got to think Neville's doing now, like Cody Rhodes did, and it 100% paid off. He was in TNA. He was wherever he was outside of WWE. He delivered, and they saw and said, "Hey, we want you back. We want you back here." And now he's the NXT champion. This is what a story for Drew McIntyre.
Crazy turn of events for sure. I love McIntyre in the ring. I don't. So when he won the championship, I was like kind of sad. I was like, why would they put it on him? But then I realized it started to click. I was like, you know what? The story that he has, it makes sense with the whole thing.
Because it's the first guy. I think it's probably the first guy. I mean, I guess he was kind of WWE homegrown, but then he left and really made a name for himself. But before him, all of these NXT champions, I guess with the exception of way back Big E and Bo Dallas, all of the other guys who've been NXT champion made a name for themselves before they
Outside
got to NXT.
WWE, yeah.
Guys like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Nakamura,
Finn Balor, yeah.
right. They were already established guys before they got here. So Drew McIntyre, although he left, is one of those guys who's
Homegrown.
quote-unquote WWE made.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
When was the last time an NXT champion lost the title and didn't go up to Raw or SmackDown? Like, is there an opportunity here for these two guys to keep a little feud going with each other? If McIntyre drops the title, is he going to come up, or is he going to stay in NXT maybe a little longer, keep it going?
Nakamura stayed in for a little while after he lost the title.
Well, a lot of them lost it, stayed for like another 2 months and left.
Right.
I think the longest was Sami Zayn, probably.
Well, yeah,
he
because
also
he
got
went up
hurt.
and then got hurt and then came back
Yeah.
down and fought Nakamura.
Realistically, it's never happened.
Right.
So it would be interesting. Well, I mean, Samoa Joe, actually. Aledo, he lost
But
it,
you see
won
where
it
I'm going
back.
with this?
Yeah.
Maybe if he loses it, he could, I don't know
Right.
what their plans are with him, but loses it, stays down.
I don't think McIntyre's going to drop the title.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to drop the title. 2, I don't think he would stay down either. I think he's already ready. Like he's
Yeah.
already built the name for himself.
Yeah.
But I don't like seeing Almas really that much. Yeah.
Why? Because I do.
All right. So
He grew on me.
when he first came to NXT, I was like, who is this guy? Like why is he here? What is he doing? What is the story he's trying to convey? So then he was doing like these matches with whoever was new, right? Like whoever the new guy was.
Yeah,
And-
he basically took Ty Dillinger's spot.
Right. And I was like, we don't even know this guy. How's he taking Ty Dillinger's spot? But then he got this manager now. What's her name?
Zelina Vega.
Right.
What is it? It's Austin Aries' wife, right?
Yes.
In real, yeah.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah, it's whatever.
I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it that much.
Anyway, so he got this manager, and now he's great.
Yeah.
I think I agree with, for the most part, when he first got the first real year in NXT, I wasn't that big a fan. I didn't really care about him, but his last couple matches, that match with Johnny Gargano in Brooklyn was incredible.
Yeah, that was a good match.
That's the
actually.
match that turned me on to Andrade Almas. Do I think he's going to beat McIntyre for the title?
Absolutely
No. Do I think this is what I do think is that this is possibly, he'll lose, he'll stay for a couple months, then maybe around January, the new year, he shows up on SmackDown or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
And It's last thing I'll touch on real quick. We talked about how the NXT title, it's always gone to somebody who made their name away from WWE. Who do you think could be the first WWE, well, the next, really, we saw Big E, but else, the next WWE-made NXT champion? I have mine.
I don't even know because honestly, who is there? Like maybe there's some I'm missing, but
It's for me at least, it's the Velveteen Dream.
yeah,
He's your guy.
That's gonna be a while.
Not
though,
right
no?
now,
Yeah.
no, but eventually. I don't see a reason why not.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
There's nobody else. Everybody else is
can't
from
really-
everywhere else. It's
Yeah,
from,
they're
there's
just
Adam
they're just
Cole,
picking people
there's,
off. Right.
There's who else? Aleister Black, who made himself outside.
Everywhere.
Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. Those are the guys who you could see taking the title next, but they're not WWE.
But they're not
homegrown.
WWE guys, exactly. All right, so that's going to do it for us here on the Phenomenal Forum. Week number 3. Still got a little bit of a streak going. I'm liking where we're headed. We'll see you next week, Wednesdays at 5. This has been the Phenomenal Forum on WCWPsports.org.